Burn Line Podcast. The burn line on a well-crafted cigar is straight and sharp as a razor, much like our wit and wisdom. And what is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, over the age of 21, you are listening to Burn Line Podcast, coming to you not live from the hot box, the smoky back room where deals are struck and fortunes are made, adjacent to the Phoenix room, nestled amongst the complex of rooms that comprise Tobacco on Main Street. Tom Cannon, proprietaire, Westminster, Maryland, USA. I'm Johnny Midas.
And I'm El Fumo.
And we smoke cigars.
Yeah. By the way, on that intro, I'm going to put you on 5 times speed.
Oh, yeah,
and
like
see how he plays.
Yeah, like the Micro Machines guy?
Yeah.
You probably don't remember that.
No, probably not.
You're too young. Yeah,
I know what Micro Machines is.
Yeah, like 91. They had like the world's fastest Guinness World Record talker do their commercial. Yeah.
Huh.
It was really cool when I was like 11.
But that was a thing back in the day, fast talking commercials. It's not really now.
Yeah. All right, back to cigars. We are smoking the Partagas Y Nada Mas Santiago. So we talked about this on the show, and really there's some inside baseball here about the production and distribution, but this is the latest offering from non-Cuban Partagas.
Yeah.
Right? So we bring this up on the show all the time. I don't think there's a lot of confusion with people that smoke cigars, but for people that just walk in for a golfing cigar, like, there's some brand confusion. I think it's a legit argument by the Cuban producers. This is not a Partagas CRD number 4.
No. One
of the best cigars ever produced that's Cuban. This is a different brand.
Yeah. But you know what it's also not?
Expensive.
Yeah. No, but I was hoping you would pick up that other part. It's also not an American Partagas.
That's correct. It's not American Partagas.
So it's a Partagas that's not a Partagas that's a Partagas that's not a Partagas.
Well, it is, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Partagas is not a Partagas, but it's also not the other Partagas. Yeah. Except it is.
But it isn't.
It's complicated. So, and by the way, if you haven't heard our old episode, I can't remember if you were even on the show yet, about the structure of the cigar industry.
No, not yet, but then we talked about... Yeah, that was Nick.
Yeah. Scandinavian Tobacco Group, General Cigar. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Listen to that in preparation for this show, and it'll make more sense. But this is the Partagas Y Nada Mas Santiago. It is a brand new release. We are smoking the 5x50 Robusto, which, you know, every time I smoke, like we had the Legacy Robusto last week. Every time I smoke these Robustos, I'm like, who needs a bigger cigar?
Yeah, that Legacy actually lasted me a while.
Normally it's a lot of tobacco. Like, this is a lot of tobacco.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. By the size of cigar that you enjoy, I'm just saying, every time I smoke one of these, I'm like, man, this is actually big. Like, you don't need more than this. You know, or smoke 2, but... and so, of course, we've got to get these cut and lit. So, I think it is time for the official cutting.
All right, let me get mine. We didn't talk about that it's in a cello, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yours is still in the cello. Go ahead. Get yours out of the cello before you cut it.
UPC, obviously.
Is that from the manufacturer?
Yeah, it looks like it is.
Later?
It might be.
I can't tell.
Yeah.
I can't tell if that's from the retailer I bought it from or not.
Yeah. Well, it just says Partagas Y Nada Mas 5x50.
It's kind of cool that it's got the size on there.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, retailer barcode, that's you can't not have those nowadays. Fucking, everybody's got a point of sale system that wants to run a successful business.
And it's good for you because, dude, inventory. Inventory used to be a huge problem with cigars, the retailer end.
Yeah.
Dude, internal shrink and just shrink, purpose shrink.
Yes, and we both have our Craftsman's Bench open-ended double guillotine cutter, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, it is time for the official cutting, brought to you by Lord Baltimore Distributors. The official cutting is brought to you by Lord Baltimore Distributors. Featuring proprietary blends available nowhere else, Lord Baltimore Distributors are meticulously crafted boutique cigars made in small batches for every palate. Lord Baltimore Distributors. when only the best will do. And as always, we remind you to clip that cigar with authority. No limp-wristed cutting allowed.
Holy moly.
Did you cut yours crooked?
I did, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, let's see how it smokes.
Yeah, it's got plenty of shoulder, though.
Little love tap on the fleshy part of the hand. And, yeah, there's some tobacco flakes coming out of mine, so always a good idea.
How's yours rolled?
Fine.
Yeah.
It does look a little loose,
yeah,
which I would expect. Partagas is not known for, like, that tight roll like Fuente is. Fuente is known for sometimes being a little tightly rolled. That and gluing the fucking band to the wrapper. Yeah. The Fuente specialty.
But that's a lot of band now that we cut that cap off.
Yeah, the band is fucking huge, and
do you want to do it now?
I'm not sure how long it'll last. I'll leave it on for now because it's pretty. It
is pretty.
The wrapper is fine. You can't see much of it. More is covered with the band than not.
Yeah. It's one band, but it looks like two pieces.
Just like the Perdomo last week, which is a great way to save some money. I'm a little concerned about this.
I see that.
It looks crunched.
Oof. Yeah, I see that. When you see the modeling right through the...
well, it's pressed in.
Ooh, I see that.
It looks like someone went... That's why I don't like a lot of stuff covering the cigar.
Right.
I hate the cedar sleeve. Nothing personal. I know Fuente loves to do that. I hate the big bands because I want to see what I'm purchasing.
Yeah.
And you can't. I think the graphic design is phenomenal on this. I love it. The car on the box, we don't have a box here, but I'll put it in here for folks to see. I like it. It's good branding. And let's go ahead and get these lit. But before I do, I cannot save this for socials and surprises because I've got something for you.
Oh, shit.
To light with. And I'm tired of you bringing janky-ass shit.
Well, I tried to show off the old
into
stuff.
The show. So I got you a little something gently pre-owned.
Oh, shit.
In the show.
What do we got?
More appropriate for hanging out with Johnny Midas.
All right. Let me put this down so I don't fuck that up. It's heavy.
It is heavy.
Whoa! Look at that. An ST Dupont.
That is a Linea 2.
Is that blue or purple?
It is blue. It's got the protective everything. Like it is brand new. It's technically not brand new, but it's basically brand new.
Right. So this is the actual flint. This is the actual...
Now you just side wheel it. That's it. You have to put gas in it.
I don't know. Is this protected something?
It doesn't do anything.
Okay.
Now you have no excuse for bringing janky-ass lighters to the show.
I like my janky-ass lighters, though.
Yeah, well, you're hanging out with high class now.
All right.
So it is time for the official lighting, and let's see what you brought today.
All right. So another dude. This is like just another handy dandy, like either backyard work, whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty retro.
So.
Woo!
Yeah. The only thing is, it doesn't have a lock.
So that's the Scorch, right?
Yeah. So it doesn't have a lock to keep it, like a table lighter. I can turn it down. That's just really, really high.
Yeah, that's as high as it goes.
So. Yeah.
Yeah, but not having a lock is good, right? Because it's actually a safety feature?
Well, it all depends. Like I said, I just wanted a lock so I could lock it in on table mode.
Yeah, I know, but if you drop it while it's locked, you're burning the house down.
Well, that sucks.
So it's kind of a safety feature. Yeah. But, yeah, that is the old school Scorch.
Yeah.
And, of course, I'm lighting up with my ST Dupont.
That does have fuel in it.
It does.
All right.
All right, you ready for the official lighting?
Yes.
Brought to you by 2C Premium Coffee. The official lighting is brought to you by 2C Premium Coffee. Keep your day fueled with delicious coffee from 2C Premium Coffee. Featuring select beans from Bali, Kenya, Ethiopia, and around the world, 2C Premium utilizes continual roasting, so you are always getting a truly fresh cup of premium coffee. 2C Premium Coffee, morning made us.
Not ST DuPont.
And as usual, we remind you, toasted, not roasted. Treat that cigar with the love and respect it deserves, and it will return the flavor. All right. So, now that we are lit, let's start getting these burning down and get you some flavor notes. Let's talk a little bit about this cigar. This is the Partagas Y Nada Mas Santiago. This is the 5x50 Robusto. MSRP is about $8. What does this cigar consist of? The wrapper is a Habano 2000. The binder is Sumatra. And the filler includes Piloto, Corojo, Ecuador, and Broadleaf. So a bunch of different leaves in there. Mm-hmm. And this is, of course, named after Santiago, Dominican Republic, where Partagas is located. And actually, everybody is in Santiago. Like, there's cigar companies in other places in the Dominican Republic. But it's sort of like Bardstown, Kentucky. Okay. There's bourbon from other places. Yeah. But if you're not from Bardstown, then you have a like a little city distillery in Louisville or something. Yeah. You know, Santiago is similar.
Yeah. So the Esteli.
Yeah, it's like the Esteli of Dominican Republic.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually didn't know. That's the one thing I did not know. It's like, shit, what city are they all centered around in DR?
All right, so here's the inside baseball that we were kind of joking about. This is the non-Cuban Partagas. Okay, non-Cuban Partagas is distributed by Forged Cigar Company, which is owned by Scandinavian Tobacco Group. STG has always used General Cigar Dominicana to make their Partagas sticks. But for Y Nada Mas Santiago, they enlisted Tabacalera William Ventura, which of course is famous for making the Adventura cigars, as well as quite a few of the Caldwell cigars. Yeah. And so the William Ventura tobacco factories, they make good cigars, and they're, you know, obviously you can never output together a bad blend, but they make good quality cigars. William Ventura has also made sticks for Room 101, which was purchased by STG in 2022. So STG makes stuff at Tabacalera William Ventura, but they've traditionally used General Cigar Dominicana to make their Partagas brand, which again, the structure of the cigar industry, Partagas is a brand. Mm-hmm. It's distributed by Forged Cigar Company. Forged Cigar Company is owned by Scandinavian Tobacco Group. So, complicated as usual.
Sounds like a lot of tax evasion to me.
I don't know about that, but I don't know how many taxes the Scandinavians have to avoid. Yeah. But, so, you know, we think of Partagas like a company. That's just how we think of it in America. Kind of like we think of, like, Fuente's a company. Yeah, it is. Perdomo's a company. It's vertically integrated, right? And they, like Padron, like, they get their leaves from somewhere. Their tobacco's grown by someone, right? But they're doing all this. Well, Partagas is a brand, not a company. There is no Partagas Farms. There's no Partagas Factory. There's no Partagas anything. Just like Crowned Heads. Yeah. Crowned Heads is a brand that produces some delicious sticks, but somebody else is rolling them in their factory. Someone else is growing the tobacco. They're involved in every aspect except doing the work, right? They don't own any of that stuff.
So they're like that one kid in your group project, and they come in at the end and take the credit.
Well, no, because you know these companies, they manage the money and usually like the blending, the tasting, all of that. It's just how many fucking tobacco farms are there? There's not that many. You know, you can't just go start one. Right? It takes effort. I mean, hell, it even took the Amish 10 years to get a good cigar leaf.
But that's pretty quick, though. That's a quick turnaround.
Yeah, they've done a great job.
To go from cigarette tobacco to, no, we're now cigar tobacco.
Yeah, and then rollers.
Yeah.
Like, you need a factory, you need rollers, and then it's Dominican Republic. Who are you going to compete with? Mm-hmm. Everybody.
Yeah.
Davidoff, you know. So, Partagas is a brand. There's no Partagas farm. There's no Partagas curing barns. There's no Partagas rolling factory. There's right. So that's how it's structured. Partagas Dominicana, right, which is what this is. So that's kind of the inside baseball. Is Partagas is a brand. It is distributed by Forged Cigar. Forged Cigar is owned by Scandinavian Tobacco, which means STG is really calling the shots. Mm-hmm. They've historically made their Partagas. General Cigar Dominicana has made Partagas. For some reason, on this one, they switched.
Okay.
And it's interesting because, Y Nada Mas means, like, and nothing more.
Yeah.
Right? And, the guy was saying that's the point of this cigar. It's like, Partagas and nothing more.
Yeah.
And then they added Santiago to celebrate their cigar. So, That's what this cigar is. Again, Habano 2000 wrapper, Sumatra binder, fillers that include Piloto, Corojo, Ecuador, and broadleaf.
Dude, I have to relight already. Like, I'm dead cold over here.
Well, mine's staying lit, and I'm talking a lot, so not terrible. All right. While you do that, I will talk about what I'm tasting so far. Number one, the draw is way too loose.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't tell that I'm puffing on a cigar. It's just pulling air straight through.
It kind of reminds me of a quorum, honestly, on the...
I wouldn't know. I've never smoked one. Yeah, there's not enough pressure on the draw. The smoke is very harsh on the back of my palate.
Acridity.
Yeah. It's very hard. I let it burn down after the initial light. It is very harsh on the back of the palate. I've got the strength at a 4 for the pre-show smoke. I pegged it at a 5, so maybe it's going to pick up, or maybe this one's just lighter.
I don't know. I had a 3.5.
Yours is even lighter than that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it's super light. It's not going to kick my ass, like, halfway through, is it?
The last one I smoked did not change.
It wasn't like a sneak attack.
No, but I think the harshness of the smoke makes it feel stronger, maybe, than it is.
That's I could tell that. That's why I was like, no, this is a 3.5. If it wasn't for that smoke.
Yeah, it really scratches the back of your throat. All right, so flavor, right? We talk about simple, mid, and complex flavor. The flavors that I'm tasting right now, there's some like soft dirt, some soft chocolate, a little bit of pepper.
You know what this reminds me of?
What's that?
You ever been to one of these old Civil War? Maybe you have. Anyways, it reminds me. It smells like a musty stone, like an actual stone basement with dirt floor.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back when, your foundation was like stacked stone, and you just have this dirt floor cellar. It's not a basement; it's a cellar.
Well, I mean, like a lot of the Gettysburg houses, that's what they have is a dirt. Like,
yep. I lived in one of those.
Did you?
I was like 12. Yeah.
New Orleans?
No, West Virginia.
That makes sense. Either way.
The home. We thought it was built like pre-Civil War. Now it's on the National Historic Registry. It was built in like 1813 or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say
really
12 or 13. Nice.
Yeah.
Guessed it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. But that's exactly what this reminds me of.
Mm-hmm. That damp earth. It's not like.
It's always cold.
Yeah, it's not. Yes, it's not like that Mexican soil.
Yeah.
That kind of dirt. It's different.
Yeah. So weird.
There's a little bit of sweet cedar. There's sweetness in here.
I'm not tasting sweet on mine, dude.
Yeah, mine tastes sweet. Not like fucking sugar tipped.
I know what you mean, but I'm not getting it.
But the number one carrier note, and I have this in my notes from the pre-show cigar, is Velato tobacco. That's it. Like, I don't know if you've ever smoked just a Velato leaf. it's like as close to cigarettes as you can get with a cigar. Like it's just tobacco, right? And we know that the lower down on the plant, the less flavor. That's the major carrier note to me is just Velato tobacco. So we'll see if this picks up or changes. By the way, the secondhand smoke is disgusting.
Yeah, it is.
So I'll blow some your way.
Oh God. Yeah, that's not pleasant. It just stinks.
It reminds me of marijuana.
Yeah, it just stinks.
It's a little skunky.
You know what this smells like, dude? This is creepy. It smells like fucking viewing area of a funeral home. I know it's oddly specific.
No, actually, I know exactly what you're saying, and I will tell you how to get that flavor. So, if you take a sort of a double puff to get a lot of smoke in your mouth, and then slowly push it up into the back of your nose,
okay,
and kind of hold it there. Don't totally retrohale, just kind of hold it there,
okay,
and then let it out, kind of slowly. You get this really, really significant chemical smell that reminds me of formaldehyde. So try it with me real quick.
Oh God, that's fucking terrible. That's what
Right.
it is.
It's just like formaldehyde.
Oh God, that's gross.
It's disgusting. Yeah.
Not gonna lie. One on flavor. I'm telling you right now.
Oh well, we'll see if it changes. I don't want to, what do you call it? Let the cat out of the bag or whatever.
Spoiled the ranking.
But flavor, I had simple to mid. So there's actually a few different flavors in here, but it didn't change. It didn't really change enough to be mid. So this is like a simple to mid. And my cigar is completely wrecked under the
holy shit,
under the band.
dude.
Right, and that's the problem with having these big bands. So here, let me hold that up so you can see it. Right.
At least the band came off easily.
Yes.
But when do you think that happened, though?
My guess would be that
handling after the fact?
somebody. It looks like somebody dropped it. That's what it honestly looks like. And I don't know because I, just bought these off the shelf, and I don't know what happened before I touched it.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't gonna drink Coke, but I
need to wash your palate off.
Yeah.
All right, and then so the body is like the strength of the smoke in your palate, the texture and whatever. This is mild bodied.
Yeah.
You can't really move it around your mouth, taste it. There's no texture to it.
It's so light. The smoke itself is light.
Yeah.
And then the output is light, and just the draw, man. I know you like a very firm draw. I'm not on the very firmness, but this is like way too loose.
I agree. This is very loose. By the way, so I'm more than half an inch in, and the harshness has not gone away.
No,
it's not like I scorched it lighting it up. This tobacco is not. It's just not aged correctly.
This might have gone to market too soon.
Yeah, I'm a little struggling here. I certainly don't want to shit on any of these passion project, but the quality of the tobacco is very low.
Yeah, dude, I'm not.
And I'm a little. I'm disappointed in the sense that it's an MSRP of $8. I don't expect a phenomenal stick, but I shouldn't be able to buy a $4 stick that's better.
Yeah.
And I can.
You know what this kind of reminds me of? Not that it was a completely shit stick or anything, but like the Fratello Lunar, because that one felt rushed as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of what this reminds me of.
Yeah. Yeah, shades of a little throwback there. So, all right, it is time for socials and surprises. You are our marketing plan. Please, if you think we add any kind of value to the cigar industry, like, share, subscribe, comment, nice 5-star review, whatever it is to help us beat the algo and get top-notch cigar information out there to the public. So help us out with that. And this week, we don't have any new YouTube subscribers. Boo hiss, go ahead and subscribe right now while you're listening.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of emails this week, including one that won't really reveal anything, except she said, your audio quality's not great, and, a couple of comments like that. I'm like, well, you try editing a fucking podcast, but sure, thanks for the feedback. but nothing really super cigar related. So just remember, this is your show. This is a consumer podcast, and so if you want us to try a cigar, tell us. burnlinepodcast@gmail.com. Go to the show notes, click on the link tree, contact us button.
Stop suggesting the acids.
Or better. Well, that's just a joke now.
Yeah.
You know, every time I get that, I know they're just picking on us. Or better yet, send us a cigar.
Yeah, send them. We'll try 'em.
Just mail them to Tobacco on Main Street here in Westminster, Maryland, care of Tobacco on Main Street to Johnny Midas and Burnline Podcast, and we'll smoke them on the show.
Yeah.
Happy to try them out and see if our tastes are aligned.
Yeah. Or we're full of shit.
So, I think it's time for our first break. When we come back, we will do our tobacconist tip of the week. Don't go away. And now your tobacconist tip of the week with Angel Solorio.
Okay, so tip of the week. If you're having these issues, fucking throw the stick out, get something else, or get the same one. Because there's no rescuing that. There's just no rescuing it.
Yeah, no, it's a good call. This is one of my favorite tobacconist tips. So, and this applies to a lounge really well as well, right? Which is you're in a cigar shop. You bought a cigar. It won't stay lit. The wrapper's fucked up. Whatever. There's something quality control about it. Mm-hmm. Just start over.
Yeah.
Get a new stick. You can try the same one. You might ask somebody, "Hey, is this normal?" And they might be like, "Yeah, you bought a Havana Q, or whatever." They don't all have bailing strings in them, but some of them do. Or they might say, "What? That just get And then if you're at a reputable shop, you'll often get a replacement stick. Mm-hmm. There is a program with manufacturers for warranty.
Yeah, crediting warranty. The retailer, not the
Yes,
consumer.
crediting the retailer. So
I'm gonna try my best to finish this because of the show, but normally right now I'm like, nope.
Yeah. So I'm not. Why don't you get lit? I'm gonna get some glasses, and we'll talk about this whiskey. Look at that guy.
Yeah, it does look pretty.
Yeah, it looks Asian. It looks Indian. This is Rampur Asāva, and what's sort of special about this is a Indian whiskey, and there's some things that make it really unique. In fact, it's the only whiskey like this in the world. So, first of all, it is matured in used American bourbon barrels.
Okay.
So bourbon, in order to be even called bourbon, has to be matured in new white oak casks that are charred. Well, this is not matured in new casks at all, charred or otherwise, but in used American bourbon casks.
Sure. Yeah.
And then they're finished in Indian Cabernet Sauvignon barrels. And apparently it's supposed to give it like a really unique taste or something. Don't look at the glasses too closely. Tom?
Yes, sir.
You're quite welcome. El Fumo?
All right. Help wash down the flavor.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and, tell you and the audience, I'm not finishing my stick.
Are you okay with that?
It's a terrible stick.
Yeah, because I didn't want to offend.
No, so was the first one. I did finish. I got the first one down to the final third because I wanted to be fair to the show.
How bad was that?
It was bad. It was bad. And since I'm getting the same experience, I'm going to go ahead and stop. This is not something I want to kind of insult my palate with, and I'm not going to.
Yeah.
So
I'm stopping because it's literally making me sick.
I believe you.
Yeah.
All right, Rampur Asāva.
Salud.
Cheers. Salut. Skol. Slancha.
Oh, that's really good.
That's really good. So that's it's 90 proof. It's not super smooth, but it doesn't really burn.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the heat is like right back here in the.
I'm feeling it right here. Like,
Yeah, I've got some here.
It's
so
good.
There's some like back here in the lymph nodes. Really fruity.
Yeah, it wasn't mine. That's what I was reading. Apricot and let's see what it said. Fruity note of Rampur. I don't know what that is. Apricot, blackberry, and plum.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Hint of tobacco and spices. Interesting.
So this is a single malt. It is a 90 proof. I put notes of fruit, honey, oak, vanilla, a little cinnamon, a little clove, a little black pepper, and then just an interesting trivia note. The Rampur distillery is in the foothills of the Himalayas. So remember, India is a big fucking
It really
country.
is. Yeah.
And I think in America we associate India with like South India a lot.
Yeah.
Well, there's more than that, right? So, there you go.
By the way, these motherfuckers were like, here, let's make a distillery in the middle of a fucking world war.
Yeah, yeah.
1943.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, people are dying, we're shooting shit, blowing shit up, but here, let's make some alcohol.
Were they still controlled by?
Yeah,
British.
yeah.
That's why.
That makes sense.
Stiff upper lip. We'll just make some alcohol.
Yeah.
Sign up here, boys. Go to war, lads.
Maybe that's what it was. They were like, damn, we can't import alcohol, like rum.
I
So
mean,
like somebody.
maybe it was. Maybe because like the shipping lines and stuff, they're like, we'll have to make our own.
I think that's exactly what happened. You heard it here first. We found it out.
Yeah.
That's the history.
We're just making up history. So basically, we're a history podcast.
Yeah.
Tom,
might as well turn it into
what
that.
do you think?
I think they had nothing else to do. They were so far out.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, shit.
It was very pleasant. I've tried a couple Indian whiskeys, and they're always different, they're always unique, and they're always been pleasant so far.
Well, I think, I like Scotch, and I like the gross Scotch, like Lafroig, so this isn't really in my wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely does remind me of Cabernet.
Yeah, I like it, though.
It's fruity. I think it's good.
Oh, yeah.
I think people that like, whiskeys on the fruity side, I think they're going to like it. Me, I like the smoke and the iodine and the, go fuck yourself.
Like a Glenmorangie in a sherry cask.
Yeah, it does remind me of that.
It has a hint of for people to get the flavor notes, a hint of American honey in it. That honeyness.
Yeah, I put honey in my notes.
Yeah, that you were describing.
Yeah.
You know the difference between American honey and somebody else's?
The bees are free.
The bees.
All right, so Tom, can we get some other sticks?
We can.
So this is new. We've never done this on the podcast before. This episode we are smoking the Partagas Y Nada Mas Santiago, and it's terrible.
I think this is a Birdline Historic first. We abandoned the smoke. Not even mid-smoke. We just abandoned it.
Yeah, it's too bad to keep smoking.
Yeah, it's terrible. It was making me sick. I couldn't.
So Tom Cannon does not stock shit cigars. So why don't we go choose a couple? Yeah.
All right. We'll be back.
Okay, we're back. Thank you, Tom Cannon. We are smoking the Alec Bradley Chunk Maduro. I remember liking this cigar.
Nice. I've never smoked this. This is the first for me.
Oh, okay.
So, thank you, sir.
This is like if Nub made good cigars. That's what this is. And what are these retailing for these days, Tom?
About $10, $11, something like that.
About $10, $11, something
So
like that.
good.
Right here at Tobacco on Main Street, where
It's got 4 years age on it.
there are cigars in your humidor I won't smoke, like the acids, but they sell. People still like them. But if you want great cigars, and some of them out of print, this is the place to come. Tom is an actual aficionado.
Dude, this reminds me of like early 2010s fucking cigars.
Yeah, these have got a few years of age on them. All right, so this is a big ring gauge, like a 60. It's like half of an Asylum. So you kind of get that late in the game flavor that you get like with a nub, except the Alec Bradley Chunk has about 40% more tobacco and much higher quality tobacco, if I'm remembering correctly. And this is only going to be better because of the age on it. I cannot not get that taste out of my palate. And so we're gonna smoke something else. And we're smoking the Alec Bradley Chunk.
So it's a 4x60.
Yes, 4x60. You notice how I nailed the ring gauge?
Yeah.
I'm getting pretty good at that, right?
Yep. All right, Rampur, Mexican San Andres, binder, Honduran, Yamastrian.
Ooh.
Filler.
Oh, did I tell you about that?
What?
The Yamastran?
No.
Oh, so, my brother Joe, his wife is from Honduras.
Okay.
She said in Honduras, it's pronounced Hamastran.
Hamastran. Okay.
Hamastan, with the accent on the first syllable. And she said it's actually a native word.
Okay.
So, Honduras didn't always speak Spanish.
Right. See.
So yeah. She said it's Hamastran.
Hamastran. Okay. Dominican Piloto for filler and Nicaraguan Escalí.
That is damn good, dude.
Well, that's way better than whatever the fuck
Well,
that
yeah,
is.
the contrast. Anything would be amazing. No, that's really good. Okay, so you could definitely taste the San Andres wrapper.
Yeah, dude, it's
You got
so
like
good.
that,
Oh,
yeah.
God. This is what a fucking cigar should taste like right here. Like, just something that's not going to make you sick, tastes good. By the way, how's your draw?
It's exactly what I would expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, by the way, about the same price as what we were just smoking, but more tobacco, actually. That's a
It's better
5x50,
tasting.
this is a 4x60.
And better tasting.
So if you
Yeah.
take the pi r squared to get the volume of the cylinder,
Yeah.
I like the torpedo head to it because you can kind of make it, smaller or larger aperture. So, I cut a little bit less off than you because I like a tighter draw.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's working or not, but yes. And I can taste the Esteli, like that black pepper flavor from Esteli tobacco.
I like finding cigars that a lot of people overlooked.
Oh, by the way, this is a 60. Sorry, the other one was a 60. This is a 64. I didn't click the torpedo.
This is a 64. You can tell right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, Tom. As far as an overlooked cigar goes, because I smoked these 4 years ago, and I'm not an Alec Bradley fan, and I like to age a lot of their stuff, but I'm not against them, and I'm like, okay, I'll try it.
I think they're hit or miss, but even if it's a miss initially, it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, I was like, when that came out new, I was like, okay, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I smoked one that had 3 or 4 years age on it, I was like, alright, now we got something.
Right. Well, the reason I tried them initially was actually the main reason was the tobacco types. I'm like, this looks good. So I don't know if you remember, but 4 years ago, Mexican San Andres was not as fucking rampant as it is now.
Yeah.
I think the Crown Heads Juarez really kicked that trend off. That was 2018.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think.
And then DBO, he
17.
Yeah, Francisco did it, started putting it in there, and then CAO came out with the Zocalo.
Mm-hmm. What amazes me is Plasencia fucking snapping up Mexican San Andres wrapper and aging it for 12 years. That was like 5 years
Yeah.
before anybody was wrapping a cigar.
Dude, he just, like, clairvoyant.
They are, yeah. Yeah, they're
They just put a nickel on every horse.
they do. They do. Yeah, Plasencia plays the long game, like that whole Grandma's Patch
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm like, they harvested this tobacco 10 years ago. They've been sitting on this land for a decade waiting to spring this.
Yeah.
I think they are, well, it's certainly the world's largest grower of tobacco, and I think there's something like larger than the next 10 put together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, the amount of
Speaking
land-
of
Yeah.
large farmers, we got to talk about today's topic. So, sorry for that brief interruption, but you know what? We're a fucking consumer podcast. We're honest, and this is our experience,
Yep.
right?
Look at how much we had. Dude, I only got an inch off of this, and I was done.
Well, the reason I'm not offended is I was so grossed out by the pre-cigar show, or pre-show cigar.
Yeah.
I was like, I could have got a bad one. I'll smoke it on the show. But as soon as I'm having the same experience an inch in, I'm like, I'm not finishing it because I respect my palate too much. Anyway, we talked last week. You know, we got an email that said, what's the deal with Ecuadorian tobacco, right? So, ironically, this cigar that we didn't finish advertises some Ecuadorian tobacco in the filler, but for the most part, you don't read about Ecuadorian filler. You read about Ecuadorian wrappers. So what's the deal with Ecuadorian tobacco?
Well, as an
And of course, given the fact that, you know, you have these really big and really good cigar companies from Dominican Republic, from Nicaragua, everyone knows about Santiago and Esteli and all that. But there's not like the big Ecuadorian cigar manufacturer or factory, right? And so it flies under the radar, right? So it seems like a lot of folks advertise Ecuadorian wrappers, but rarely anything else. So here's a little bit about Ecuador that you might not know unless you're a complete hopeless cigar nerd, like I am. So for starters, the climate is incredibly unique. So most of the tobacco grown in Ecuador is in the Andean foothills. By the way, do you know where Ecuador is?
On the equator.
It is.
In South America.
It is. By the way, that's how it got its name, Ecuador. Yes. So it is. It has 17 volcanoes, I think, active volcanoes.
It's crazy. I did not know that.
It is covered with volcanic soil, which grows tremendous natural fertilizer.
Yeah.
And so I'll give you an analog. People that are really into cognac, right? So cognac is brandy that has been distilled in cognac region from wine made from grapes in the cognac region, right? Well, if you're actually like an insider aficionado of brandy, you prefer Armenian brandy, which is why during the Cold War, Joseph Stalin used to ship a train car of Armenian brandy to none other than Winston Churchill once a year. Because if there was any man that knew his vices, it was Winston Churchill, and he knew that the mountainous volcanic soil in Armenia grew far superior grapes to make brandy out of. And to this day, like the No distillery is probably the most famous one. But they make brandy, and sorry, it's better than cognac. It's definitely more like earthy rustic, but it's just better. Well, similar with cigar tobacco. It fucking grows in that volcanic soil. But there's something really unique about Ecuador's climate as well, which is, on average per year, guess how many hours of sunshine they get? Hours. There's 365 days in a year. How many hours in the year of sunshine do you think they get?
All of them.
No. They get about 500 hours.
So that's not a lot.
It's less than 2 hours a day.
What?
Of sunshine. Constant cloud cover.
Oh.
It has something to do with the way the volcanoes vent hot air into the atmosphere. It's just constantly forming clouds. And so it is naturally shade-grown tobacco. You don't need to use cheesecloth. You don't need anything.
Netting or whatever.
Netting, like, you're not going to scorch the leaves. It's perfect. It's the perfect climate for tobacco. So that's something that, if you're not a cigar nerd, you probably didn't know, right? So the majority of Ecuadorian tobacco farms are owned by Oliva. And actually they have 5 farms in 2 regions. The original 220 acres in Guayaquil, and then they bought 300 acres near Empalme. So, by the way, all of Oliva's farms are named after wives, except for Don Angel, which is named after, Don Angel. Don Angel Oliva, the original, the OG. here's something interesting, though. Oliva only grows Ecuador Sumatra and Ecuador Habano wrappers on these farms, right? So the original 220 acres, they grew everything there, and then it was in the 2020s, I think, or maybe late teens. They bought the 300 acres, and they switched that to their wrapper production, and the original farm is dedicated exclusively to tobacco that they farm for, what's that company that starts with a B? It's not Byron. I forget, but it's one customer, and the whole 220 acres is just tobacco for that customer. And that's Oliva's footprint in Ecuador. Now, the rest of the farms are, basically all of them are owned by ASP Enterprises, which is headquartered in Miami. And they focus on Ecuadorian Connecticut seed. So if you have a cigar and it advertises Ecuadorian Connecticut seed wrapper, it was not Oliva that owns the farm. It was ASP. Likewise, Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, it's Oliva. It is not ASP. So how it came to be was growing wrappers in Ecuador started in the 60s post-embargo. If you weren't around, I wasn't, or if you're not familiar with the history, Nicaragua wasn't ready to produce high-quality wrapper leaves and had some political issues of its own. And in fact, with the Sandinistas, there was actually an embargo in the 80s against Nicaragua, right? And the Dominican Republic still doesn't produce a wrapper leaf. Like, the exception is all of the fucking 15 years of work that Carlito put into growing the special Dominican wrapper for the Opus X. And, it's finicky, it's hard to do, there's not enough of them, and so, it only goes into very special cigars. Including, by the way, the Ashton ESG that we smoked in Top Shelf Sip and Smoke.
That was great.
Was that just 2020?
2017.
2017, yeah. Wow. That had a Dominican wrapper, and of course it was rolled by Fuente.
I didn't even get to try one.
Well, they were great.
Yes, I
so,
heard.
Yeah. I'll vouch for it. It was pretty good.
Fuckers.
Fuckers.
That was a great event, Tom. Did you have a chance to watch the video on it?
I got to watch up until I was sitting on your lap. I want to go back and finish it because I have gotten a lot of verbal traffic.
Awesome.
Here in the store about people saying that they enjoyed that show. They always enjoy your regular podcast, but they like the live feel.
Yeah. Well, I thought the show came out great. Unfortunately, I didn't get Jen at all, so I'll have to do that next time.
She moves fast.
She moves fast, yeah. She was doing a great job, and of course, Drew doesn't get any praise because no one can see him, but he's back there sweating behind the grill. So.
Those steak bites were bad.
Dude, the steak bites were amazing. But here's what Ecuador had. Fucking perfect soil and perfect climate and reasonably stable politically. And to this day, I mean, when was the last time you heard about some bullshit in Ecuador?
2 years ago.
Some top up?
Oh, well, dude.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
A thin finger.
A thin finger it is.
That's good.
That's good?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, when they violated
Plenty
international law and raided just there we go.
Shut up, you're messing up the show. So Ecuador... No, but on a serious note, Ecuador has been...
Yeah.
They've been relatively stable. So you had that whole thing where, the fucking communists, the Russian, Soviet communists, they were trying to overthrow governments and, destabilize politics and make people, dissatisfied with their current condition.
God, that sounds oddly
Oh,
familiar.
gee, like, nobody's doing that nowadays. Fuck you, China.
That whole part of the world was really happy until Americans and Russians started showing up.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Just,
Like,
hey, you hear, those guys are talking shit about you. So beat them up.
First,
no, they were first.
Let's just throw it back at the Spaniards. They started.
Right. But anyway, so it was someplace you could move to immediately. By the way, that's sort of the story with ASP. We'll get to that in a minute. So Ecuadorian wrappers are very high quality, partly because just the natural environment is conducive to producing wrapper leaves. As you know, wrapper leaves are delicate, and anything with harsh sun, that's a challenge, right? And so, in fact, it's so tough that like Mexican San Andres and Pennsylvania broadleaf, how they have sort of gotten around. Now, of course, Pennsylvania isn't sun all the time, but there's long stretches, right? How they got around it is they're a thick, leathery wrapper, but they lean into it. They're like, yeah, we're rustic. We're not, your fine wrapper leaf. Fucking deal with it. Beef jerky and tobacco wrappers,
Not sure how those Amish figured it out without internet, though.
wait. I can't use the internet, but I can pay you to use the internet.
Trial and error.
Yeah. But anyway, there are many aficionados that argue that Ecuadorian Habano is the best wrapper leaf out there. And it is used on some of the best cigars. So the Arturo Fuente Rosado Sungrown, guess what? Oliva grows that wrapper. It is an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. The Ashton Symmetry, the Rocky Patel 15th Anniversary, all of those are Ecuadorian Habano wrappers. And a lot of the aficionados, like myself, like Francisco, that believe the Cameroon is the best cigar wrapper. If you ask them what the second one is, you know what they'll tell you? Ecuadorian Habano. Right? So Ecuador does make phenomenal wrappers. So going back to ASP, you probably never heard of them?
Yeah.
Right? So shoot us a line. If you've heard of ASP, let us know. But most people haven't. They're the largest grower of premium cigar wrapper leaf in the world. They have farms in Ecuador, Nicaragua, Mexico, Brazil. It was started by the Perez family. It goes way back. And I can't remember the old name that it had. It was the embargo, we moved, restructure, all of this stuff. But ASP actually stands for Alfredo and Silvio Perez, father and son. Sadly, like 1 year after forming ASP in the U.S., the son died. He passed away.
Oh, shit.
And the father, Alfredo, he hung on long enough to educate the next generation to run the business. And then he passed away in like 2005, I think, and he actually died of a broken heart from losing his son. But he hung on long enough to pass it down. And it's currently 5th generation family business. Now both Oliva and ASP primarily grow wrapper leaves in Ecuador. So they actually harvest the plants in such a way that almost every leaf is a wrapper leaf. Right? So they grow and harvest differently in Ecuador than they do most of the rest of the world, and that's why it's almost all wrapper leaf, and you hear about Ecuadorian wrappers. And it's not that much. So, Oliva, they combined only have 520 acres. And granted, these plants are going to be 10 feet tall when they're mature, but that's not that much tobacco. Now, there is some filler tobacco that ends up, they grade the leaves and they harvest most of them on purpose to be wrappers. And you have stages where I'm cutting these leaves off and then I'm waiting and I'm cutting these leaves off and I'm waiting.
Did they start at the top?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't see a video.
Wrapper leaves, but cut it backwards.
Yeah, I think they do is as a leaf gets to a certain size, they cut it off, and as they grow in. But I'm reading between the lines because I didn't see a video of it. Now they do make filler tobacco out of Ecuador, but it's almost always advertised by its seed type and not its origin. And so you'll have cigars and they'll say, this is like Habano 2000 filler. It was grown in Ecuador, but it's the Habano 2000 hybrid that everyone cares about, right? Not the soil and sun and microclimate.
Good
So
marketing.
it's good marketing, but it's also a little odd because we have this push by some very large companies, Plasencia is probably the number one. Yeah. Fuente doesn't do it much, a little bit. But this push to here's where our tobacco came from, here is the hands that picked your tobacco. Oh, the Jalapa Valley is special. Perdomo does this, actually. Where they're emphasizing where it came from. And nobody's ever done that with Ecuador, but it's the place. Mm-hmm. Like, if they wanted to make that a marketing thing, right? And I think that one of the reasons for that is, dude, it's done. You're not going to get good farmland there. ASP and Oliva bought it all up, so unless you're buying some of their farms, you ain't getting any farmland. And, well, Oliva makes their own cigars. ASP doesn't. They just sell wrapper leaves. That's their thing. And so what's the point of advertising it, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a big player like Fuente, it's like, hey, here's this great region of tobacco, and we put it on. Well, what about the rest of your cigars, right?
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah. And so because of the lack of vertical integration, I don't think it's ever going to be a selling, but it could be.
I think it's their next Cameroon because, Fuente controls like 90-some% of the Cameroon market.
Yeah.
They get
Yeah.
first pick, Oliva gets second pick, everybody else gets what's fucking left.
Yep. Which is not much.
Ecuador is probably the next Cameroon. They just got to get ASP out of it.
Yeah, I think you're right, and of course, ASP is exclusively tobacco farmers, and they specialize in wrappers.
Well, it's to their interest to not sell to Oliva and Fuente.
Mm-hmm.
To avoid the monopoly.
I'm sure they don't want to have all their eggs in one basket, right? Although, interestingly, most of the tobacco that Oliva grows in Ecuador does not go into Oliva cigars. They're mostly selling it to other companies. But that's the deal. So you guys asked, we delivered.
What's the deal with Caroline? Ecuador ain't tobacco.
Yeah. All right, so we're pretty far along. It's time to take a break. And when we come back, we will do the cigar news of the week.
Don't go away.
Don't go away. Cigar news of the week with Angel Solorio. Okay, we're back. Stop fucking around, Angel.
We're not fucking
We have
around.
a hungry audience waiting for
It's
you.
working.
You guys are sidebarring. Alright, news of the week. No peeking. Alright, so anyways, I'm not gonna read the full post, but I'm just liking how, if you guys follow Steve Stock on socials, mostly Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So, by the way, he is just very
Blunt
and transparent.
Yeah.
Like, what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago, I talked about how one of his products got bought.
And redistributed.
Yeah, redistributed. And
Not illegally, but improperly here in the U.S.
Yeah. So now, we're tariffs. Beautiful word. Best word in
It's
the
the
language.
most beautiful word in the English language.
He's the most honest guy in the whole industry about it.
Yeah. So he's over here. Basically, what he said. Okay, guys. June 4th, we're increasing the prices on our cigars because of the tariffs, but we're also gonna try to roll it back once it all chills out. So that's cool shit. That's just the skinny. But like I said, it's longer. Cool explanation. Percent this that. Well, anyways, basically it's like, hey, we're gonna raise them, but we're gonna roll it back. And he's one of the only manufacturers I've ever heard so far that are talking about rolling it back because everybody's doing a pre-tariff.
Yeah, people already raising their prices in expectation of tariffs.
And
6 to 10%.
6 to 10%. And don't expect them to come back down because they're just going to stay there. Because they're like, yeah, we're going to make money.
Well,
If the market bears it.
They're hurting after the mini cigar boom. They
Yeah.
got their money.
Yeah.
I mean, capitalism, not too angry about it, but at the same time, it's like, all right, come on now. So, I mean,
Vote with your wallet.
yeah.
That's what.
They do need to be mindful. This is defined as an affordable luxury.
This is an affordable luxury.
You start hitting the affordable part.
Yeah, but like that's the thing that kind of sets. It's like, okay, I get the tariff part, but some of you are mostly pre-raising your prices, and then you're going to keep them there because they're like, oh, that's what it is now.
He did explain, he added in that article that a lot of his stuff, because of other people pre-raising the prices, his stuff has already gone up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he's raising the prices. He wanted to hold out, but he couldn't. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
So
Right.
he raised his prices to match what he's being hit with. But if his products go down, he will drop the price.
Yeah.
But that means if all goes well, January.
Right.
Yeah, but he's the only one.
Or 3 years from now.
Yeah, but he's the only one that's talked about that. Like,
So yeah, it's a good shout out, to Saka. Like, I know he'll even say that he's an asshole, and a lot of people have
yeah,
feelings about him. But he's honest and transparent, and I'll deal with that all day long.
yeah, and like I said, if you follow it, not to give too much details because it's just a lot. He's kind of turned a new leaf. He's changing some things, so cool for
Something
him.
he also shared publicly.
Yeah, so cool for him.
So I need to change.
All right, moving on. So Caldwell is shipping the Malcaida.
Also made by William Ventura, Tabacalero William Ventura.
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a 6x50. So this is interesting because I'm pretty sure you're going to be taking a shot. So it's a 6x54 box press, and it uses Habano seed wrapper from an undisclosed origin. But here's it. Wait for it. A Sumatra seed binder from an undisclosed origin. That's your Ecuadorian right there. I'm going to call it right here. And Dominican fillers, undisclosed.
Interesting. Okay.
Rolled at Tabacalera Mina del Rey in the DR. So I'm just going to call it right now that Sumatran is definitely Ecuadorian.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that actually sounds interesting. 15 to 16 bucks a stick, depending where you're at.
When's that hit in the street?
Shipping meow.
That's a little steep. It's not terrible, but tobacco prices are going up, cigars are going up. So,
But you weren't completely wrong. So it was discontinued in 2022 because there was a fire at the Bacalera William Ventura. So they kind of did. So you weren't completely wrong. They just kind of had to move because you can't really roll if you don't have a building.
yeah. So I didn't mention that, when I was talking about this Partagas, but yeah, the Bacalera William Ventura burnt to the ground, completely done, finished. They rebuilt, and I think they reopened really 2022, late 2022. So I remember this Caldwell being a William Ventura cigar. So it looks like they're bringing back the brand.
Caldwell crafted and curated Savage's Malcaida.
We just call it the Malcaida.
The Malcaida, yeah. Next, JM Tobaccos is shipping the Española Corojo.
Okay.
Not from Spain, I believe.
The JM Española.
JM Española.
What the total available pricing?
Okay, I'm going to get to that.
construction.
Alright, so get ready to take a shot. It has an Ecuadorian Corojo Habano wrapper,
Shot.
Mexican San Andres Maduro binder, and filler of Dominican Olor Seco and Ligero.
Okay, so Dominican Olor is a unique and delicious tobacco. So the Seco is in the middle part of the plant. So that's going to be filler leaf.
Yeah.
So the Seco's pretty good. It burns better than your Ligero, but it has way more flavor than Velato.
So this is kind of almost an ode to the Year of the Dragon, but that's because they lost all that inventory.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the Española comes from.
Oh,
it's
so
because of
they're
that Year of the Dragon
gotcha.
and all that just fucking gone.
Yeah, so
Which is
yeah,
just shame, dude.
yeah, that was a shame. So they're taking the leftover tobacco and the same tobacco that would have gone into the Year of the Dragon,
kinda.
and basically making
Mm-hmm.
a cigar out of it.
Yeah, so 6x52, not terrible, dude. Ready for this price? $11.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's $2 less expensive than the Year of the Dragon. So they have it in 5x50, 6x50, and Those aren't out yet, but those are going to be the offerings. 6 3/4 by 50 Churchill and 6 by 52 El Coso.
I like 5 by 50.
Yeah.
That's good size.
Yep. So that'll be cool. I mean, good for them. You know, good recovery. Hope it's a good recovery because man, that is a shame.
The longer
Yeah.
I'm in this, it's all about tobacco as a commodity. You gotta use it all
You gotta use it.
for
Yeah.
something.
You have to use it for something.
But once you turn into cigars, now you really gotta sell it.
It doesn't. Yeah. Side note: this Rampur Asāva pairs terribly with a cigar. It does not go whatsoever with it.
God awful.
Yeah, the cigar is great. The whiskey is great. Don't put them together. So if you swing by Tobacco on Main Street, be sure to check out the Alec Bradley Chunk.
Mm-hmm.
Out of print, can't get them
There's only a few left.
except here. And don't pair it with this Asava.
That makes
So
sense.
I got some news of the week, not
Yeah.
cigar related.
Okay.
Johnny Midas had his 45th birthday this weekend.
Nice.
I celebrated by strapping a 50-pound kettlebell around my waist and doing 50 parallel bar dips.
Nice.
So still strong.
There you go. All right, and then La Aurora.
Oh, here
You're gonna have fun.
you go. Go ahead. La Aurora.
La Aurora opens Miami warehouse, which is gonna.
What is it?
It's just
Warehouse in Miami.
Is it an actual cigar warehouse? or
Yeah,
is it-
so it's 2 in 1.
Okay.
It's also where they store their Caribbean Sunrise spirits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, remember they did
Yep.
that venture now.
Yep.
So the facility will service both businesses, so cigars and the spirit. It's a rum. That's right.
It's a rum. Yeah.
Which distributes the Leon Jimenez rums.
Well, it also sounds like a hipster bar, so I just had to check what it actually was.
Let's hope.
Yeah. If they are thinking things through, that's a good cash flow right there.
Yeah, so they actually started with, which is going to be also the distribution center for their cigars.
Okay.
They were actually in Houston. You probably were aware of that.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Well, you got the port right there.
Mhm.
It kind of makes sense.
so yeah, that's what I got. That's where we're at, guys.
All right. Okay, so today's weird. Different sort of podcast. We had the Partagas Y Nada Mas, Santiago, and we didn't finish it, which I'm comfortable doing because I smoked the entire cigar before the show
Yeah.
as a love offering to all you guys out there in
Thank you
YouTube
for
land.
making such a sacrifice.
It was a fucking sacrifice. And so we're going to rank it because that's what we do.
We're gonna rank the right cigar.
We didn't smoke it. We ended up switching over to this Alec Bradley Chunk, a really cool. I think
Yeah.
I think it's like they took the nub idea and were like, we can do it better. And it did, I think. Just to get the flavor out of my mouth.
Dude, that's
Like, I
tough.
can't. I have to smoke something else.
Mhm.
So Tom Cannon hooked us up. And, shout out, of course, we film here, but we don't have like a business partnership
Mhm.
with Tobacco on Main Street. And so, I'm not blowing smoke when I say that this is the finest lounge in a 100-mile radius.
Mhm.
Definitely classy. And, more importantly, you can get sticks like this that are out of print and other special stuff because Tom is, one, an aficionado. He understands tobacco and is also a consumer.
Mhm.
And two, it's his place.
Yeah.
So it's not, the guy behind the counter doing the ordering is not just some corporate stooge. It's like, oh, we sold 14 acids, I'll buy some acids,
Yeah.
He stocks the stuff that you actually want to smoke,
Yeah.
including acids, but that's not true. So, so we're going to go ahead and do this and rank this Partagas because we have to. This is for the, it's a new cigar. We're smoking it before a lot of folks.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and do this. And the caveat: we're not shitting on anybody. We just want everybody to know this is a consumer podcast. We're going to give our experience, and your mileage may vary.
Dude, I've had the Partagas Black, and that was a great smoke.
It is.
Yeah. So let's start with presentation.
I'll give it an 8 because the
Yeah.
presentation was actually cool. Like the Buick,
Yeah.
what was it, Riviera or something?
It's
You had
a
something.
classic car on it.
Yeah.
The coloring is great. The band is beautiful. I had picked an 8 as well,
Mhm.
so that's interesting. We both had an 8 on that. I think the presentation is great. construction. So we had every issue.
Yeah.
My wrapper was fucked, but it was covered by the band, so I couldn't see it. It was packed way too loose. Yours was twice as loose as mine, so that's a quality control issue. Took the band off. My wrapper you can see it's just off.
Fuck.
If I couldn't keep smoking it. I wanted to.
I'm stuck between a 1 and a 2.
I'm gonna go with 2.
Yeah,
For
because
construction.
as far as construction, it didn't fall apart, but it was way too loose, and that draw sucked.
You couldn't even.
I can't rescue it.
You couldn't keep it lit.
No.
And you weren't talking. I'm the one doing all the talking while you're trying to keep it lit because there's just too much air in there.
Yeah, the first time I gave it the benefit of the doubt, I was like, it's probably me. I was talking just a hair, but no.
All right, so price now. We do price is also value, right? It's not just hard price. So example, if you have a $15 Opus X and a $50 Quorum, which one's the better value?
Yeah.
The Opus X.
Yeah.
They don't get the same score because they have the same price. So when we talk about price, we're actually talking about value. And so this has an MSRP of like $8. Most people are going to pay $9, $9.25, something like that, depending on what state you're in and stuff like that, and markup. So for value, I have like a 2.
I was gonna say 1 or 2.
Yeah, because I don't want to smoke it.
Again, ever.
It's just I don't want to smoke it. So it doesn't matter what you price it at. If it was a $3 stick and I was comparing it to $3 sticks, it'd probably get like a 5.
Yeah, there. That's generous.
Maybe. At its price point, I think a 2 is fair. All right, so let's move to flavor. So it had some really interesting flavor notes.
0.
Some oak, some honey. Don't get ahead of me. What else did I put? Earth was a big one. That damp cellar.
Yeah.
The carrier note, though, the predominant thing, if you're a cigar aficionado and you have your experience and your palate developed, was just Volado tobacco. This is like the bottom of the plant. It wasn't aged. It wasn't fermented. It's just smoke. That was the main carrier note. You had formaldehyde in there. And then, of course, all of that was killed by how harsh it was on the back of the throat. Like, my throat still hurts.
Yeah, it does.
From smoking an inch of it. So, flavor, I've got a 1.
Can we go 0 or?
No.
Okay, 1.
Okay. We're agreed on that. So, that takes us to overall experience. I don't know what to do here because I would never smoke it again. I would never give it to somebody.
I wouldn't suggest it.
I wouldn't suggest it. I think it's an insult to cigar smokers. I had a terrible experience twice. It's so bad that I wouldn't smoke it. It's not. There's no use case.
No.
Oh yeah, I'd smoke this fishing because no. I mean, first of all, I'm not doing that with a $10 cigar or whatever, but I don't want to smoke it. So I've got a 1.
1
for experience. Okay. All right, so Partagas Y Nada Mas Santiago.
That's right above a large Teton.
Yes.
Compared. All right,
total score of 14.
Oof.
So
that is our lowest ranking cigar.
So don't ever accuse us of being fake or only smoking good cigars or like pumping numbers up or whatever. We smoke new stuff. This is new. It's hot off the press. And we try to do all of this for you guys out there in cigar land. And honestly, I expected this cigar to be mid-30s.
Yeah, dude, the way they made it sound.
Yeah, I mean, just
as
mid-30s.
advertised.
Yeah. Like, sure, it's a cheap cigar. It's not going to blow your socks off, but it's going to be something. Some kind of value proposition. And I'm really comfortable with our rating because, like I said, this is not the first one I smoked. You had the same experience as I had, and I had the same experience as I had.
And we didn't talk about this either, by the way.
We did not talk about it before the show. I never do, right? I do pre-smoke because I want to make sure we're fair, and I've never discussed it with you because I want this to be a real experience. I don't know what to say except this shouldn't be on the market. I don't know what went wrong. I can tell you I've smoked enough tobacco to know that this tobacco needs at least one more year in a curing bond.
Probably more than that.
But probably 3.
Yeah.
Probably about 3 years too young.
I'll let you know, a Havana Cube tastes way better than this.
I have smoked $2 cigars that blow this out of the water. I have smoked Fumas that blow this out of the water.
Guys, it's just bad.
I smoked a Civil War era cigar that, you know, is 150 years old Candela that was better than this.
Yeah.
So that just is what it is, and I feel, you know, I don't know, like, I want to inform people. I want to be honest, but at the same time, I almost feel bad about it. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, caveat emptor. Your mileage may vary. If you want to go out there and play Russian roulette with your cigar, go for it, man. You know.
There might be somebody that actually liked this.
No.
Clearly, the guys who put it out liked it.
Did they even try it?
I don't know.
They probably didn't. You know, they probably tried some blend and were like, yeah, we'll do this blend. And then the bean counters got involved. And they're like, we're buying this lot and that lot and that lot. And that's what ended up in the cigar.
Yeah.
I think if it had better construction and you put 3 years of age on it, that it could be pretty decent. I did like the other tobacco flavors in it. They kind of went well together. It's just a complete fucking whiff, dude.
Did you get sick?
It's a strikeout. To my stomach, yes.
Oh.
Absolutely got sick to my stomach. So, there you go. A little bit of a longer show. Thanks for joining us, everybody, on Burnline Podcast. We will see you again next week.
Is yours going out at all?
No, it's lit pretty good. This wrapper's hot shit, though.
Yeah, dude, I think mine's is too loosely. That's why it keeps going out. Like, I'm puffing on and it just went out.
You're not even talking.
I know, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I'm out already again.
Do you mind if I pinch your stick?
Yeah, go, dude. I did that. Feel that.
Holy shit.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It feels like a quorum. I know you didn't smoke one, but did you?
That is almost a quality control issue.
Maybe
mine's not that bad. Mine is definitely too loosely packed. Hey, there's a couple of really spongy spots in mine.
Like right here. Look, feel right here. Exactly. Put one finger right there.
Oh my god.
There's
nothing in there.
Bro, what the fuck?
I don't know. Yeah, that's not well done.
I don't know.